But don't worry about that. We'll make sure to keep you updated on who is going to be in the lead as we progress through the run. But yeah, here we go. Looks like our runners are jumping into the game.
Yeah. So right off the bat here, we're going to see both runners doing a lot of jumping. We don't currently have our dash, so jumping is the next best thing. It's just a little bit faster than normally running, so saves about a second, I believe. So free time save, why not do it? Both making their way across the bridge, and we're going to talk to a little bird here, and they are going to introduce one of the main movement mechanics of this game, and that is your dash. And that is from a lot of where the speed tech comes from is utilizing your dash in different ways. Dash jumping, hyper dashing, wave dashing. We will try to point those out as they happen. So yeah, do you have anything you want to say, Muffin, about this first chapter?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Just a little bit more on the dash mechanics. Most of the dash tech comes from just canceling out your dash with a jump. And the only thing that really changes is timing as well as the direction that you end up pointing that dash as you're going to be going through. So we're going to see our runners go through, like, as Sonic is progressing through the city, boom, dashing up and jumping off as he's hitting his head on some of these ceilings/corners, and then being able to progress through. And nice little sequence breaks, and a lot of them are actually intentionally placed in by the developers.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to... this game had speed running in mind when they were developing it, so it is really cool to see as it has progressed. I would say that even some of the strats that have come up with, definitely some of them are developer intended, but the runners have used their creativity to the utmost limits and for the speed tech and stuff like that. So both runners making their way through this chapter 1, grabbing, you can see the little green crystals right there. Those will refresh your dash. So grabbing those, and then, yeah, utilizing those hyper dashes, that is pretty much your fastest movement option in this game. Hyper dashes and wave dashes. Wave dashes are where you are in the air and you kind of bounce into the ground and then dash out. They are pretty much exchangeable. So you'll be seeing the runners do that a lot. And Sonic here had just finished up chapter 1, and akbiggs right behind him. Very close so far.
Yeah, pretty great. Sonic taking a little bit of an early lead. That's okay. Just oftentimes being able to get started in these matches can be a little bit tricky, but Biggs still very close behind us. We're going to be heading into our next section. I just love the music in this section, Obi. It's so good, dude.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so some cool dashes here. Looking on your left, nicely done, is able to get over the first spike pit. And gets over the second spike pit. Very, very nicely done. And so being able to get your dashes refreshed and coming out of those spikes to be able to avoid is very important. Wow, really clean section from Biggs too. Both of these runners putting on a great performance.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest change in this kind of the movement gimmick here is the dream blocks. And the dream blocks, once you dash into them, you will regain your dash as you exit. And also, if you jump, you will get a little bit of a boost. So you'll see the runners utilizing that to the best of their ability. They will also be picking up these keys that are used to unlock doors. So in this one, you can see Sonic is having to grab 4 to open up the path to the exit. So this also is the first battle line section of the game. We will have battle line following behind you with about 3 seconds of delay. And they follow your movement exactly. So you kind of have to manipulate that in certain ways so that you don't come in contact. If you come in contact, you have to reset the room and try again. So almost done with this section. Both runners doing very well through this very long room, doing a little bit of different strats. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, nicely done. Both of them being able to get through that battle in section with very minimal deaths. Biggs taking a death in one of the earlier rooms, so felt just a tiny, tiny bit behind, but really clean movement in these latter portions is very, very nice to see from both of the runners.
Yeah. I think it's, I think Biggs is about maybe 10 seconds or so behind. So yeah, it's still very, very close. And these, especially with chapter 1 and stuff like that, a little bit of time, like time lead, time loss, or is so easily, the lead can change so easily in these first few chapters. So it is still like anybody's race as of now.
Yeah, pretty insane. The race definitely is very, very close. Definitely close to 10 seconds or slightly within 10 seconds of each other. So really exciting to see both of the runners being this close this early on. And Chapter 3 is a very, very cycle-based area, and there is a lot of potential for cycles to go horribly wrong if our runners make even a single misstep in a lot of these rooms. But we'll see how our runners are able to handle these sections.
Yeah, a lot of with these rooms in particular, there's a lot of variety in the ways that you can execute them. Some runners just prefer doing it one way over another. Sometimes there's a time loss and time save. Other times it comes down to preference. So grabbing the keys will do what keys do and unlock the doors for future progress. Ooh, taking a death right there on the end of that room. This chapter, towards the end, there are a few in the middle, but towards the end, the rooms get very long. So deaths can be very, very costly at the end of this chapter. So runners have to be especially careful just with how risky they want to go towards the end. Sometimes it's better to just take it a little bit safer and ensure that room clear, or rather than trying to go for a super risky strat. I would say races are a lot more about consistency than just going for all the insane stuff.
Yeah, and speaking of consistency, Obi, like it's been very impressive to see. It looks like sonic33blaster is going to be taking a little bit slower on some of these cycles and like preemptively slowing down right before a really important dash timing. Whereas akbiggs has been actually taking a few riskier strats and maybe closing some of that time gap that was there right before this chapter started. So definitely really crazy to see.
Yeah, they have, both of them are now in what's called the huge mess portion of the game. We have to, the main objective for this is clearing out 3, you're helping clean the hotel. So we have to collect books, towels, and shoot, what's the third one?
It beats me, dude.
I can't remember.
Wow, both of the runners also getting really fast spike jumps. Just really awesome to see. That trick is not easy at all, and so I'm sure they're going to be going for a couple of later ones. And of course they weren't jumping on the spikes themselves, but the corner slightly exists right before they hit the spikes. But, ooh, man, Biggs had to just slow down for a slight bit there before he was able to progress through the previous room, but Sonic still just in the lead, being able to clear out that next set of stuff as he's going to be heading into the final section. Hi, Theo. Bye, Theo.
Barely see him. Well, don't worry, we'll see him again in a couple chapters. So,
yeah, we'll have some quality time with him later on.
Oh, missing the akbiggs, missing the wave dash off on that little pillar. Gets it the second try, though. Very nice. Sonic is now finishing up the last of the objectives. Now it just has to go back, grab the key, talk to Oshiro, our friendly neighborhood Oshiro, one last time. Well, I guess, no, this is second to last time. But talk to him once more, and then continue on. akbiggs is right behind, right on Sonic's coattails, so still very, very close. Yeah, probably still about 10, 15 seconds behind each other.
Yeah, so on Sonic Blaster's screen, that's one of the longer rooms, and so being able to get out of that room without a single death is actually really, really good, as now Biggs is entering that room. It's important that Biggs is able to get through here with a clean room.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
nice.
gets in there, no problem.
Nice.
Nicely done. And then takes a death right in the next room.
Sonic here is going for a pretty difficult strat, doing some very precise hyper dashes. So close.
Yeah, just extending the jump a little bit too long and then undercuts it because trying to adjust. And now Biggs in the same room and now runners are safe.
Oh my gosh!
Biggs hesitating right at the end could have been the smart play and able to get out of there. Biggs able to close a good bit of that time gap that opened up earlier in the seed.
All right, Sonic got it at the same time that Biggs did. So now our runners are like a second behind, like second from each other.
Yeah, and so the upcoming section is going to be one of the most mechanistically demanding in the early game, which is, of course, going to be the Shiro chase. So both of our runners are going to be trying to get through a lot of these screens as quickly as possible, while this giant thing is going to be drawing a line and then running in that. And then if they touch Shiro, like anywhere except for the very tippy top of his toupee, then they will take a death. And a lot of these screens are extremely long, and wow, Biggs with the dodge there right before taking a death. And our runners are synced right now. This is ridiculous.
Same rooms, exactly. A little bit different strats, though. It is cool to see the variation. Yeah, so Shiro will find your vertical height and then pick that and travel along it.
All right, here's one of the longest screens in the run from Biggs.
Oh. Yeah, this is the final screen of Chapter 3. It is such a long and arduous task to get through sometimes.
Right. And Biggs gets past the last Dust Bunny, going to be taking the lead coming out of Chapter 3, as he is going to be heading into the next section in first place currently, and Sonic Blaster being able to close that out. That's so good. It's so easy to just infinite yourselves on those screens, man. But yeah, Blaster just coming back through and being able to close that out. So Blaster is in second place right now, but definitely not out of this race. We have a lot of Celeste left for you guys.
Fantastic showing so far by the runners. Going into Chapter 4, a couple of new mechanics. We have the clouds that allow you to just... They are bounce pads, essentially. There are white clouds and there are pink clouds. The pink clouds go away after you bounce on them once. And then the green bubbles. The green bubbles act as a dash reset when you enter them. And you can, if you activate your dash, it will shoot. There's kind of a cooldown period before it shoots you out, but you can kind of bypass that by hitting the dash button a little bit earlier to shoot you out.
Yeah, so basically an important note about dashing is right now we only have one dash until we touch the ground again. However, if you dash and then are in contact with the ground and then cancel out that dash to perform some speed tech, you can end up getting that dash back.
They've got the spike jump. Difficult, very difficult trick. Sonic is going for it as well. Second try, very, very nice. That is definitely harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's impressive. And ooh, nice save there from Sonic as well on the left, being able to get up into some of these scarier screens and, yep, able to get in. Yeah, so big dash here coming from Sonic on the left is going to be trying to not have to carry this block all the way. Oh, it just gets it. Wow, that was really spooky because he like bonked his head on a corner but was able to just slide in there. But in these upcoming win sections, there's going to be a lot of really intense movement. Really important screens, as Biggs has to reset up on a cycle, and Sonic with another small death just has to do the entire screen over again, but no problem.
Yeah, there are a number of set sections. The wind can either be your friend or your foe in certain rooms. Sometimes it will be a backdraft that is fighting you. Other times it will be what's the opposite of a backdraft? A forward draft?
Like a forward draft, I guess?
A wind that helps push you along. And so the runners will be trying to use that to their advantage.
Oh, Biggs with a small death here, while Sonic Blaster is literally just one screen behind their opponent. Really, really intense, but I'll also just point out that once again we are doing this by in-game time, and so oh no, akbiggs with a couple of deaths and that. Oh no, and Sonic has to reset the screen as well. They're literally trading the lead back and forth. And Sonic Blaster with some nice tech. Really nicely done.
Both runners through.
Yeah.
On to the Snowball sections coming up here in a couple of rooms, where it's kind of like Shiro, but it's coming from the opposite direction. So the Snowball will find your vertical placement, shoot from the right side of the screen, and if you're not careful, it's very easy to get caught on those snowball cycles. Very frustrating. But both runners handling it very well so far. Synced back up. This is crazy.
Yeah, so even though the runners are really close to being synced right now, Biggs does have that 6-second in-game time advantage. So unless we see Sonic Blaster be ahead by like 6 seconds on the screen, they're not actually tied. So akbiggs still slightly in the lead here, but not by much as they're heading into the Mirror Temple. All right, break this section down for me, Obi. What are we going to see here?
Okay, so Temple is probably one of the most interesting sections. A lot of different mechanics introduced very quickly. We'll get to see our best friend Theo right at the beginning here, and then never again for a little while. So, these blocks that you see our runners going over activate only when you dash. So you have to dash at very specific timings to get through certain rooms. Right here, difficult skip right here, going through this spike, a little bit of a sequence break here. Very nice, both runners got it. You wave dash off of that platform, gives you you do an extended wave dash, gives you a second dash, and then you can do a little bit of a sequence break right there. The red bubbles that you see our runners using as well act very similarly to the green bubbles, except they travel along a set angle, 8 cardinal direction angle for as long as they can, or you dash out of them. So that's mainly the mechanics that we will see the runners use as of now.
Yeah, so right now Biggs is still in the lead. No double bubble skip from either our runners. That's totally reasonable. That skip is insanely difficult. And really doesn't save nearly as much as it's worth in trouble. But there's still going to be a lot of really intense movement, especially in the later portions, right? As we're going to be running around with Theo in the crystal.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna hit 2 switches here. Go behind the curtain, and now we are entering kind of the Seeker section of the game. On akbiggs' screen, you see the Seeker. The game, in its way of introducing you to them, you actually become one. And the Seeker's #1 objective is to seek out and give Madeline a big ol' hug.
Yeah.
So the Seekers will, as their name implies, try to seek you out wherever you are on the screen, but they are also, and try to kill you, but we can also use them to our advantage, and I have no doubt we will get to see our runners utilize that. Seekers can activate keys, as well as be a platform to bounce off of, and also when Seekers can't die, if you hit them on the head, they will go into a brief respawn period, and then when they come back to life, there will be an explosion, and you can use that to your advantage as well to gain some momentum.
Yeah, so Biggs getting a little extra momentum. Sonic taking just a small little death in one of the rooms, had to end up doing it again, but no problem, and then is going to not wait for the Seeker to respawn. It's going to go down and grab the keystone. Another just small death from Sonic, giving Biggs just a little bit more of that 1 second gap.
Yeah, akbiggs right now is on one of hard death. This is one of the longest screens that you use the Seeker's help on. You can see him bouncing off of him and hitting the Seeker into one of those keys like we talked about earlier. And yeah, both runners, once again, on the same room, akbiggs just 5-6 seconds ahead. And now we are going to showcase off Search Skip. Muffin, you want to explain a little bit about Search Skip?
Yeah, so just a really quick reverse hyper dash there, jumping out of it and dashing through. Nicely done from Sonic, getting it first try. We're going to see on the right is Biggs. Yep, is going to be able to get that as well. Nicely done from both runners, as we are going to be heading up and up to confront Battlein again. Say some mean words. Or no, it's Theo.
Yeah,
I know this game, I swear.
Yeah, Search Skip is probably the biggest time save in the game. It takes away getting 2 keys. Probably saves about 3 minutes. So very big time save throughout the run. Ooh, Sonic doing the trick to throw Theo over the wall. Very tricky indeed. Looks like akbiggs is doing the same.
Yeah, Sonic actually got that a little bit faster than Biggs, so being able to close even more of that time. This is getting really close, and wow, Sonic having a really clean section here. This is exactly what they needed to be able to try and catch up and close the lead, but oh, just barely missing that jump. And again, but Biggs takes a death, so is going to have to do that entire screen over again as Sonic is going to be progressing through. Oh my goodness. Oh,
the seeker sections are so intense.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy, and so now Sonic is actually a screen ahead, so if they aren't tied, Sonic might just be slightly in the lead, and oh, just barely misses re-picking Theo back up after building all that speed. So we're going to see if Biggs is going to be able to make use of this. No, not even, and just let Theo catch up to them.
Yeah, I would definitely say our runners are legitimately synced up right now. Sonic may have. Oh, I think Sonic now has just a little bit of a lead here.
Wow, nice save from Biggs, and is going to be able to progress through. Those neutral jumps on those walls can be so difficult. But here we go. The eyeball is going to be shooting out waves. I don't know what this is a metaphor for, but it indeed is spooky and nice. Sonic is going to be able to clear out, and we're going to see exactly what sort of time, but it's pretty clear that Sonic has now retaken the lead heading into Chapter 6.
Yeah, definitely. akbiggs here making his way through the eyeball wave section, I guess. Sure, that's what we'll call it. Those waves can just be so ridiculous sometimes if they catch you off guard. But finishing up Chapter 5 with a 6-minute, very, very nice time there. And we are now moving into Chapter 6. And right off the bat, we're showcasing one of the main mechanics, and that is the feather. The feather is a fully, eight cardinal direction. How would you describe it, Muffin?
So if you have a keyboard, it's 8 coordinate. If you have an analog stick, then you get a little bit more liberty with which direction you're going to be aiming the feather. So definitely an advantage here to the controller runners, because there are some sort of minor sequence breaks where we skip some feathers just by having really, really efficient movement wrapping around corners and such. So definitely, it looks like both of our runners are using the controller as they are progressing through. Yeah,
and we see the blue blocks right there that are making the oh-so-wonderful noise. our good, amazing human being that is Kevin. Call them Kevin blocks. They are named after him.
Yeah, shout out to Power Up Audio. They're awesome.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting Kevin at GDQ this year. He is a great person. So,
indeed.
Shout outs to him.
And nicely done. Looks like Sonic is going to be choosing the upper route here as it progresses through, but oh, just barely misses grabbing the feather. And not quite liking that angle, but oh, Biggs with a death, unfortunately. Is just going to have to do that screen again. No problem. That was a really minor one.
Yeah. A lot of, in this section, it's kind of the branching paths section is what it's called. The runners will have options as to which ways they want to go, up or down. And I believe there are, I may be wrong on this, I believe there are 6 different choices over the course of this section. So, and there is actually quite a lot of difference sometimes between the runners as to which direction they pick. A lot of down to just personal preference. So it'll be interesting to see which ways they go. I think both of them went south. Yeah. I believe this is the route that I also do. I see a lot of other runners do, but yeah, there is definitely some leeway in the choices that some runners make.
Yeah, nicely done. Very steady play from both of the runners so far, being able to go through these sections. As Biggs is going to be opting for a lower path here, and nice, good bumper movement, and gets the feather, no problem. As Blaster also, nice, gets through like a spooky cycle section, and is going to be skipping the cutscene as they are progressing into the battle and boss fight.
Yeah, battle and boss fight shows off some really, really cool movement. Battlein is kind of our other self in this game. Looks like Sonic is opting to go to slightly slower route, but to get that checkpoint.
Yeah, I like that decision for race safety. Sonic could have taken a little bit of a riskier path in order to shave off a little bit of time, but being able to get that checkpoint, if you die at the end of the room, you don't end up having to do the entire room again, only like that small section.
Okay,
wow, whereas
Biggs. Yep.
Yeah, Biggs opted to not take the checkpoint, was able to get through their first try. So that was actually pretty big, as that closed a little bit of that gap that Sonic had opened up in Chapter 5.
All right, and we are into Battlein Fight. So in these sections, a lot of them are longer rooms and can be very costly to take deaths on. It consists of, as you are seeing, we have to come into contact with Battlein to move the fight forward, progress the fight. Battlein will be shooting out little fireballs, and also in certain rooms, a giant laser that takes a little bit of time to wind up. So.
Yeah. And so the goal with a lot of these sections is to get to Battlein before she's actually able to throw off any sort of attack. Because as the attacks continue to progress out, that means you just have to end up waiting. But if you catch a faster cycle, you're both getting to the boss faster, but skipping that cycle altogether. And so very important that our runners get through. But as Obi mentioned, taking a death can be very costly. So waiting that extra half of a second, that extra couple of tenths of a second, it adds up, but it also guarantees that they're able to progress through the fight.
Yeah, definitely for race safety, going with a half a second slower route rather than taking a death, potentially taking a death and wasting 10 seconds. It's just one of those things that both of these runners are gonna have to weigh.
Yeah, watching these runners, it's kind of difficult to shoutcast all of the motions that they're going through, but both runners having really good improvisations when they don't get that optimum movement that they most likely practice. But at the same time, just no real deaths that I've seen so far, Obi. So very, very good play so far from both of them.
Ooh, very close on Sonic's scene, or on Sonic's screen.
Yeah,
barely
taking a death there and having to do an entire screen over again. That was unfortunate, but that's okay. That really does not still open that gap so much. And we still have this summit coming up like immediately after this chapter, which is chock full of really difficult and tight movement.
Yeah. Sonic is moving into Phase 2, where Battlein gains telekinetic powers, starts moving blocks around to try to kill you. One thing I guess I should also mention is Battlein's hitbox is actually like very large. So you will see the runners and also the fireballs that she throws, they have to leave her hand before they become active. So there are some instances where the runners will literally just be trying to rush towards Battlein as fast as they physically can, so they can skip, like Muffin was saying, skip some of those cycles. Looks like Sonic going for a little bit of a faster cycle. Ooh, costly death there.
Yeah, Sonic catching that laser a little bit too low was going to run into spikes anyway, so taking the death through the laser, trying to cross over to the top side. But no problem, still Sonic had a comfortable lead because of the death from Biggs, and Biggs takes another death, is going to be getting through. But nicely done, Sonic is going to be clearing out Battlin a little bit first, but you know what? Maybe this gap wasn't as big because akbiggs, their in-game timer is at a lower value, so even though it looks like Sonic has quite a substantial lead right now, this is not the case whatsoever, as both of our runners are leveling up. What does this mean for us, Obi?
Yeah, I believe... Yeah, akbiggs is a 650, and Sonic is at a 717. So I would say our runners are... akbiggs may actually have a slight lead here, contrary to what the streams say. So
wow,
it is insanely close going into Summit. This is ridiculous. At a 27.
Oh my goodness, 1 second ahead of their opponent. Biggs is in the lead by 1 second. It's all gonna come down to this entire race. All the nerves, all of the everything. And it's such an important match too for Biggs. If Biggs takes a win here, they still have a chance to be able to make it on to the bracket stage. And Sonic also does not want to take a loss here, as they are also really, really close with an even 2-2 win-loss score. So it's all coming down to the Summit.
Yeah, very, very high stakes on this match, and they are both proving that they deserve to be here. They are both trying their absolute hardest. Looks like both of their timers, they finished up at about a 7-minute mark, I believe, of Chapter 6. And Summit usually takes round about 10 minutes or so. So both of these will be well under 40 minutes. And we will see if maybe we can get a couple of PBs out of this as well.
Yes, the Sonic Blaster currently in the lead by maybe a half of a second to a second right now. Whereas Biggs is now going to be clawing through as well. If Biggs has a slightly cleaner movement here, they are going to be able to close that time gap back. It's just so insane. Like it's really weird having the in-game time be the timer scheme, but they are basically neck and neck on the same screen now, even if it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. And so I guess a little bit about what it is. All of the chapters previously. Ooh, Sonic, very nice. Little cycle skip there, not using the block. akbiggs doing the same thing, doing a wall bounce to get up there. So now we were on to 1,000 meters, which is a retelling of Chapter 2. We see the dream blocks again. Ooh, Sonic just barely making it up there with his second dash. So yeah, all of these levels are harder, and we also have the added feature of our 2 dashes from the end of Chapter 6. So a lot of intense movement going through here.
Yeah, lots of different ways to refresh that dash as well. It's going to be interesting to see how our runners are able to work through these dream blocks, both of them with pretty clean movements so far. This race is still within 2 seconds right now as they are heading through these screens.
I'm just sitting here watching now.
Yeah. I mean, just please. Like, none of them are missing a beat here. This is just absolutely insane. Biggs with a little bit of a cleaner movement widens this gap by just a hair, but not by much.
Yeah. Now, 1,500 meters is a huge deciding point. It could decide a lot. 1,500 meters has a lot of very difficult sections. With those cycle-based. We mentioned that Chapter 3 is one of the most intense chapters in the early game, and the same is true for the section of Summit. Just very tight timings, and some longer rooms that can prove deadly to your timer.
Yeah, wow, Biggs is pulling out all the stops and is actually continuing to widen the lead as they're going through this room. Just really clean movement so far. Just one small death from Blaster could make all of the difference and allow Biggs to be able to run away with the rest of this race. This is just so insane.
The screens are so in sync. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and so the screens being in sync means that Biggs is actually ahead by 8 to 9 seconds right now. So that is absolutely huge for them, especially going into this final leg. Or the final legs, excuse me.
Yeah, on to 2,000 meters. So the chapter 4 section of this. We will see if there's any variation in the routes that they go here. Going top route, both getting through that room very cleanly, utilizing some hyper dashes off of the off those clouds. Much more difficult than it looks. And so now going into the snowball sections. Ooh, going bottom route. Akbiggs going big.
Yeah, Biggs busting out the big play here. As now they are both going in this auto-scroller section. Oh, looks like, yeah, Sonic
Biggs
is
going auto-scroller skip.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
crap, man. Well done. Just widening that lead.
Yeah, that's so impressive. Definitely keep the eyes peeled on the right-hand side of your screen while keeping an eye on Sonic as well, because what Sonic ends up doing could really decide how much leeway Biggs has going into the final sections. Like, how many extra checkpoints should Biggs pick up, etc. But Biggs, with a death, is going to allow Sonic to be able to claw back some of that time gap so far that's been widening for Biggs.
Yeah, that dash was just ever so slightly early, and he bonked his head on the platform. Unfortunate there, but immediately hit that retry button to go again. So
yeah,
finishing up 2,000 meters is insanely close.
It's so insanely important. Like, the moment you take a death, or the moment you realize it's a lost cause, that you just retry that room as quickly as possible. Because the more downtime you have before you have to retry, it's just time loss that you're bleeding out. But Biggs doing a really great job of recovering, as well as Sonic. Sonic has been doing this all run as well, just really quickly recovering and progressing. And now we are going to see who is going for the meme, the dream, the door skip. After Biggs shows off a really nice skip there, getting it first try. And Sonic,
my gosh.
as well, both of the runners just putting on a clinic here of how to showcase off some really intense tricks.
This is insane to watch.
Yeah, what a treat! Just like watching a match this close, this deep into group stage. I mean, especially the mid-tier matches of like win-loss records are some of the most exciting, because those are the people on the line as Biggs just nails door skip. Sonic Blaster not going for door skip. I actually like this decision from Sonic Blaster. Like, the memes are not worth it, dude.
But Biggs is just like, he's putting all his chips on the table right now. Like, he knows the money match. He needs to win this to continue to have a chance to get to bracket, and he's going all in.
Yeah, pumping out the auto scroller skip, pumping out the lock skip or the door skip. Just, oh my goodness, so amazing. As Biggs entering the final 3,000 meter section.
Yeah, a lot of longer sections, especially here on the 3,000 meters. Once again, we've said it multiple times, but definitely some screens. Ooh, Biggs going for the spike jump. Very nice.
Yeah, gets it. Blaster opting to not do that same spike jump, so a little bit of a slower route, but much cleaner getting that first try, whereas Biggs had to try a couple times to be able to get through.
Yeah, so we are in the downdraft section right now. The wind is fighting you, making it very difficult to make some upward progress. But the runner is fighting through every bit of it, trying to go as fast as possible. Up next, the next section, I believe, will be the updraft section. So the wind will be helping you stay afloat. Yeah, just having to be able to roll with the punches in terms of the environment changes in these sections.
Yeah, so it looks like Biggs currently has about a 14-second lead over their opponent. One just big death on one of these longer screens without a checkpoint would be able to solidify most of that to be able to allow Sonic to be able to claw back in, but this is definitely Biggs' race to lose at this point, Obi.
Yeah. Man. They're making good progress. I haven't seen a lot of deaths here. Very clean movement from both of them, grabbing those checkpoints. There is a dash right here that is very tight, very nice. Okay, Biggs is through. We'll see if Sonic is also through. Very, very nice. Very difficult dash right there at the end of that long section. Ooh, Biggs taking a death.
Right before the checkpoint too, so like the screen now has Sonic ahead, but Sonic is actually just slightly behind. But that closed a lot of that gap that had been opening up. It's so crucial. Biggs just has really clean play throughout the rest of this section. Oh no! Biggs takes another death, but that's a much shorter one. That's not nearly as bad.
Yeah, skipping that checkpoint there. Get out of here. What was that? Flag 8? Don't need you. Alright, making our way to, what is this? Flag 6?
Oh man,
Flag
Biggs
5
with
for Sonic.
Yeah, so right now, as a race update, Biggs is only 3 seconds ahead. And we are heading in to the final couple of flags here. This is just way too close to call. It's all going to come down to execution and not taking a single death.
Yeah, deaths are so costly right now. Like, just clean movement. I would say safer strats over the risky ones are better right now, but I don't know. We'll see. This race is coming to a close very, very quickly. Flag 1. We are within seconds of this race being over and decided.
All right, we're not going to know exactly who the winner is until we see the end time. So it looks like 19 seconds on the one for Sonic at 37:19, and Biggs. No, Biggs! No, Sonic takes it! Sonic wins by 2 seconds!
Oh my
god. 14-second clawback in the 3,000 meters to go. Unbelievable, man. What a race. 2 seconds! Are you kidding me? Oh my god. They traded leads like half a dozen times through that. And just Sonic keeping it close for the last like 10 minutes of the race and just being able to claw it back there right in the final stretch. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man.
That was something to see. Through that entire race.
Can these guys just like race again like 10 times in a row? Oh man.
Incredible showing.
Run. From both of the runners too. Like both of the runners had really solid times overall. And that was 37:19, I think.
37:19.
Both of them PB? They both PB'd.
Yes. They both PB'd. Sonic PB'd by over 2 minutes, and Biggs by
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, 35 seconds or so.
That is insane, right? Biggs getting the PB today with a 37:51, getting another PB by 30 seconds today. What an insane like continuation of high performance, and then Sonic closing out the like 2.5 minute, a minute and a half PB? No, 2 minute PB. 2 minutes. Unbelievable, man. Just absolutely unbelievable. We're gonna see if we can get our runners in for an interview. Looks like we have AK Biggs here. Biggs, GG on the race.
GG.
Oh, hey.
Yo. So, unfortunately, we hear you were, and I don't know if you saw the result, but you were about 2 seconds behind your opponent, so Sonic pulled out the win, but congratulations on the insane PB, man. What is this? 2 PBs in a day? You machine. How does that feel to like get 2 really solid PBs in a row?
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, 2 seconds. Wow. Still coming to terms with it.
Yeah, that's tough, man. But why don't we talk a bit about through the run? Were there like certain chapters where you're like, oh yeah, like I'm nailing all this movement. This is going pretty well. Or any moments in the run that you were slightly worried about as you were going through?
My reflections are really inconsistent, so I was happy to pull out like a low 7 in a race setting. It could have been better, but
Word.
Oh well.
Yeah, no, both of you guys, your battling fights were very nice. Even your summits as well were both very clean. It was honestly just those last two little deaths, I think on flag like 8 and 7 or something like that, right at the end that just turned the tide of the race. But everything was very clean up until that point. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah, what a rush.
Yeah, so are you just like completely jacked up on adrenaline right now? Were you watching the restream at all, or were you just like focusing on the run itself?
On the run itself. I'm
Nice.
still coming to terms with I was only watching I only checked the speedrunning TV chat room afterwards, so because he hadn't run it in, beaten him. But then when I checked the
Oh man,
game, I realized what's going on.
that's so tough. I really hope you rewatch this one though, man. Like your run was such a spectacular performance, and like you just had so many really great clawbacks, and like really this race should have been just like a tie from both of you. You kept like trading throughout the match. It was really exciting for the viewers and for us as commentators. So thank you so much for the great performance, dude. Really great to watch you perform through this tournament.
The end of my tournament run. No way I can make it out pools now.
Yeah.
Well.
So I think you need a 50% to be able to get through. Yeah.
But yeah, spectacular showing. Thanks to both you guys. I think Sonic, his mic is broken, so he won't be dropping by. Anything you want to say for last words before we head out here?
No, I'm good to close out, Obi.
Alrighty. Then I'll let you close out.
Yeah, sure. So we still have some upcoming matches tonight. We're still looking for commentators, it looks like, to be able to fill them up. But the next one will actually just be featured in 10 minutes over on Speed Gaming 2, and that's going to be Andy Perfect versus Flatterv, which is very, very exciting. And then just tons of matches going throughout the rest of the night. I think we have a 6-way at like 10 p.m. or something like that. So definitely stay tuned, guys. We have lots of really exciting Celeste tournament action. Thank you so much for joining me, Obi. I had a lot of fun casting today, man.
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you. Thanks for joining me on it. Hopefully,
Yeah,
do
no
it again
problem.
soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night, guys.
See you later.